Well, the Bombers have been brilliant, no doubt about that, up until three-quarter time. They're 9-7-61, the West Coast Eagles. It's been a comedy of errors. They're 2-12-24, beaten by a better team, Andrew Embley. But before we talk footy, give us an update. You're a soccer man. The World Cup game is underway. Socceroos against Denmark. Score, please.
Bad news for Australia. They've gone down 1-0 in the first 6 minutes. So Jorgensen back heel to Eriksson, one of the best players in the world. Eriksson plays for Tottenham in the Premier League, just struck it with his left foot. It was an amazing goal. So 1-0 to the Danes early, though.
Are you going to be able to concentrate for the rest of the game, Mr. Soccer, or are you right?
I'll do my best to be watching both.
Okay, thank you. So Ember's checking out the Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay. That is on the Soccer. We hope he does the same in this final quarter.
West Coast Eagles leading Denmark 2-1.
Well, the good thing about the West Coast Eagles in that third quarter was they started to win a bit of supply. They were able to get the ball inside their forward 50. 19-9 inside 50 entries, as the Beast mentioned. So McGovern's gone forward. We've been calling for that. They just got to make the most of their opportunities. And then need a goal really early. It's been a wonderful performance so far by the Bombers, though.
Well, at the beginning it was Bellchambers and Saad who set the tone. The run of Saad and the hard work of Bellchambers set this one up. Almost impossible to see them losing from here. West Coast goalless first term, one in the second, one in the third. A lot of attack in that third quarter and in the second. Inside 50s would have favoured them in both those quarters, but still, you think little chance of winning from here. And the Bombers came to play, and they started in the right mood. It wasn't matched by the West Coast Eagles. They've got back into the game in terms of being competitive, but not on the scoreboard, and that's where it counts. Final term is underway at Optus Stadium. Things are working well here. There's the bounce. Nat Nui goes up and taps it down. Taken by Yo, kicks inside the forward 50. McKenna punches away. Lacroix arrived quickly. Hand pass came across from Lysette. In trouble, Shuey. Hand passes back to Lysette. Lysette kicks it down towards full forward. McGovern tracks it back. Couldn't get his hand to it, and the ball goes through for a minor score. The first of the last quarter then. 2-13, the West Coast Eagles 25. Essendon 9-7-61. And that's on the Triple M and Beaumont Tile scoreboard.
Well, a chance for West Coast nearly to get the ball back. A kick out towards the boundary line, not a great one. Heppel was there, couldn't trap it. Just touched it, though, before it went over the line, so we'll have a throw in. It's Essendon by 36 points early in this final term. Nat Nui doing the groundwork as well as the ruck work. His hand pass not great, straight towards Merritt. There's a man down that's looking a little injured at the moment. Merritt will get a free kick. He was held on to after he got rid of the footy against Rioli. So in this defensive 50, he'll take the free. It might take a bit of time for it to get back to him, though. He's had a big game.
Coming out for disposal, number 24 tonight, locking on the Triple M Bosch Tool stats is Merritt.
Bosch Power Tools and Accessories, good better Bosch. And that's the voice of the beast, Mark Cometti. As Merritt takes his time. On the left, he comes to this wing. McDonald, Tip and Woody had to wait for it. Cole was there to put the pressure on and fist it over the boundary line. So another throw in right below us, a minute and a half gone in this final term. Essendon 9-7-61. The West Coast Eagles 2-13-25. That's on the Triple M Beaumont Tile scoreboard.
Nat Nui and Bellchambers lock up over the top. Nat Nui taps it forward. Heppel did well. Got a hand pass away to Smith. Flicks a hand pass out to Guelphy. Guelphy goes inside the forward 50. From behind, Shepherd got a fist on it. McDonald, Tip and Woody arrived quickly. Going after the football, Schofield. Could have been taken high. Tries to tap it out of there. Stringer battles with him on his knees. And the umpire, slow to blow the whistle. This ball trickles out. Gee, that was hard work for those players. Smith, the beneficiary. It was a drive-by. He was just standing there watching it, and the ball came to him. Hand passes to Guelphy. Guelphy hooks it down towards full forward, takes an Essendon turn, and it's gone through for a goal. How about that? That was the wrong one. Guelphy thought it was going to miss as he followed his kick. And I think the guy in the square who was Lacroix, who was closing on the football, thought he had it covered. Then that changed very quickly, and the ball spiralled out of control as far as he was concerned and went through for a goal. 10-7-67, 2-13-25 on the Triple M Beaumont Tile scoreboard.
Well done, Matt Guelphy. He's done some good things tonight. His pressure's been really good. Essendon grabbed him with their last pick in last year's national draft. Boy from the Claremont Football Club here in Perth. And he's kicked a really important goal in front of his family and friends tonight.
There goes Andrew Embley for Triple M Seabus Super. Seabus Super for everyone in building and construction. West Coast out of the middle again, needing goals. They've only kicked 2 the whole evening. Here's Sard. He's been a reason why they haven't been able to kick goals. So too McKenna receives it from Sard and has a bit of a run. 2 bounces. Outside his defensive 50, he goes the kick into the middle of the ground. May work out okay as Fantasia taps it to his own advantage, then gives a hand pass away. Myers caught in the tackle. Nat Nui there as well as Shuey. Nat Nui will pick it up. Then he was caught in the tackle and lost it to Sard. Draws an opponent, gives it to Fantasia. His kick inside attacking 50. The mark was it taken? No, play on. McKernan tried to claim it, then he snaps it round the corner towards the goal square. Hearn against Brown. Hearn there to get the fist to it. Over the line it goes. The throw in metres around from Essendon's goal. They're 10-7-67. West Coast 2-13-25. 4 gone in the final term.
So it'll be a throw in then. Nat Nui has moved down to the back pocket to compete here with McKernan. Wins it easily. McKernan didn't leave the ground. So Nat Nui looking for a teammate, but it didn't come off as cleanly as he'd hoped. Marston was the intended, but he was swamped immediately, just waiting in front of that pack. Always a tough situation as the players descend on you. He had to wait. It came to him slowly. After the boundary throw in, Nat Nui taps it down again. McDonald, Tip and Woody went in after the footy. Eventually it spills to Redden. Redden did well. Kicked it out of defence, but it's 2-on-1. Goddard leads back, and as you'd expect, the 2 win. The 1 was Ryan. Ryan stopped. He's arguing with the umpire. Meantime, McKenna is tackled, and the ball spills out of bounds. So McKenna and Rioli get involved, and Ryan goes across and has a push at McKenna as well. And that was very well done by Rioli. Won a free kick. It's holding the ball against McKenna. He goes back towards centre-half back and Nelson. Nelson spots a man on the outer side. That's Hearn. Runner alongside. Doesn't use him. Goes to Marston. That was the better option. He's down towards right half forward. On the move is Lacroix. Kick and goes that way, and he's taken the mark on his chest. Lacroix hard against the boundary line in the right full forward pocket. Thinks about a short one, and then decides against it.
Well, that was just outstanding running from Mark Lacroix and a wonderful kick from Chris Marston. Essendon had worked hard to get numbers back. It had to be a spot-on kick, and Marston was able to find Lacroix, who had run almost 100 metres flat out to get on the end of this.
And he's meticulously doing up his bootlace, aware of the clock, which is down to about 12 seconds now. As he lines up, he's outside the boundary. This will take his best effort. Right footer in the right full forward pocket, and he comes. Normally very good, and this one misses to the near side. His best in his career, 12 against Essendon. That wasn't a goal, that one, but they've got 2 now. 2-14, 26, 10-7, 67.
Yeah, well, it's not great from West Coast, but it's terrific for the Bombers. They will keep their finals chances alive. The tap down from McKernan comes into the hands of Langford, who received it from Merritt. He was caught in a great tackle, though. And at the top of the attacking 50, West Coast with a chance of maybe kicking a goal, but by the looks of their kicking tonight, Embers, this is no chance.
Elliot Yeo, he's got one of the bigger boots for the West Coast Eagles team. He'll be kicking from just outside 50. Man of the mark right on 50. But as you called it, Locke, they haven't kicked well tonight, the West Coast Eagles. But Elliot Yeo, important kick coming up here.
17th possession for Elliot Yeo. Been kept a little quiet this evening. He's had a terrific month of footy. In fact, had a terrific season. He'll kick from 55. It's a long one. Won't make the distance, though, and the Bombers will be happy to fist it through for another minor score. That is 2-15-27. Plays 10-7-67. It's the Bombers by 41 points here for McDonald's. Triple M rocks footy. As the kick out is a long one for the Bombers. Green couldn't take it. Heppel's there to gather it. Gives it off to Bagley. He goes by hand to a teammate at centre-half back. And Redmond, now it's with Sard. to McGrath. They just keep on moving it forward. Here's Redmond again, shrugged off one tackle, wanting to run backwards. Did run backwards, just fed it straight. Oh, terrific stuff to Merritt, to McGrath, back to Merritt. His kick is a good one. Gee, they got out of trouble real well just by hand on that occasion.
That was very sharp, wasn't it? Langford comes back towards the middle, taken by Goddard. He spreads things back towards our broadcast side now. Bagley picks it up. He's about 70 metres from goal. Goes low, trying to get it on the bounce, I think, to Stringer. Stringer battles Shepherd. There's a winner, at least in the short term. That was Stringer, but then he lost the ball. Taken by Schofield, spins out of the pack. Hand passes to Hearn. Hearn gets it away. Cole's got it now. Kicks it up towards halfback. Taken by Yo. Thinks about a hand pass. Now he decides to kick over the head of Jetta. No, Jetta did well. Reaches back. Takes the mark. Plays on. A little chip kick to the wing. Lysette. He marks. Hand passes to Shuey. Shuey goes towards half forward and Ryan. Now Ryan goes to the long option. It's Lacroix. That was a very good kick. Lacroix hand passes across to Rioli. And Rioli kicks the third goal for the West Coast Eagles. But it is the final term. The Eagles are 3:15 now. And Essendon are 10-7. 67 plays 33 on the Triple M Beaumont Tile scoreboard. Tradies, head to beaumonts.com.au to find out how you can get 60 kilos of free CTA glue.
Well, for one of the few times tonight, Essendon just lost their structure a little bit. It was good ball movement from the West Coast Eagles. They were able to get the Bombers out the back because they maintained possession of the football. Lewis Jetta was important, and they were very quick across half back there. Good transition. And an important goal. You think they're way too far from winning this game, but an important goal.
Around the grounds, Embers, in fact, around the countries for the World Cup. 1-0 still. Denmark lead the way over the Socceroos. As we bounce the footy back in the middle again. Rioli trying to get another possession. Kicked off the ground up towards centre half forward. Waterman couldn't trap it. Saad gathers. Had a big game. Goes by hand to Heppel. The skippers look good too. His left foot kick is a beauty, and Bagley makes it look even better by taking a great mark. What a terrific game from the Bombers. Bagley kicks it to left half forward, and Brown has taken another one. They've silenced the fans here in style, and Brown will kick inside, attacking 50 again. Schofield from them behind. McKernan couldn't take it. Kick off the ground. Another goal coming their way. Devon Smith. He's got 3. And it's now back out to 40 points. 11-7, 73 the Bombers. West Coast 3-15-33. It's been fun to watch.
They've been very good, haven't they? They had the bite. They were certainly fresh. They prepared. They planned really well for the West Coast Eagles. The Eagles coming off a 6-day break in a very exhausting and tough contest against the Swans last Friday night. They've looked lethargic tonight, the West Coast Eagles. And having the Bombers made them pay.
Seabus Super special comments from Andrew Embley. Seabus Super for everyone in building and construction. 11-7, 3:15. So 18 scoring shots apiece, but that's a bit of a mirage. When it counted, Essendon far too good in this game. Out of the middle after the tap from Nat Nui. It's taken by Fantasia. Boots it down towards half forward. Duggan flew from behind. Knocked it down in front. Merritt. Quick hand pass away to Guelphy, the former Claremont boy. I must have got a typo. The ball goes down towards the pocket. Here's a chance for Stringer. Gets loose. He was legged. He's going to get a free kick, Stringer. It's against Cole. Cole was on the ground. He grabbed the leg. And high-stepping Stringer brought the umpire's attention to it.
Kicked 3 goals in the first quarter. Really got Essendon off to a really good start. And when you're away from home, it's important you start well. And no doubt Jake Stringer been a little quieter since quarter time, but he's lining up for goal number 4 and certainly been a very important player tonight.
Yeah, he was a catalyst early. He's only about 20 metres out. It's all a question of accuracy. In comes Stringer, and this one isn't accurate. He puts it to the far side, and it sneaks in for a behind. So 11-8 plays 3:15, and that's on the Triple M Beaumont Tile scoreboard.
So playing on again is Shannon Hearn, chalking up his disposals. Decides this time to go through the middle of the ground. McGovern attacks it, couldn't take it. Rioli jumps onto it, gives it off to Redden, back to Rioli. Might run into a bit of trouble, but kept it to his own advantage before he fell over and turned it over. And so did the Bombers. Bad kick from Redmond. Went to Gaff. Gaff in the middle of the ground. Finds Schofield running forward. He wants to launch one from 70 metres, loads it up. No one there, though, for West Coast. Goddard got back into the goal square and took a terrific mark. He'll go short to Merritt. It was a wasted disposal, Embers.
Wasn't a right option there. You got McGovern forward, just had to put it out in the front of McGovern. In the end, he just blazed away, and he just felt like Essendon were always going to get back on that one.
So the Bombers will come to this boundary side. McKernan up. Surely that was a mark, and it was. Fantasia's kick was a good one. And McKernan will take the mark. Pick up McCaw's lunch deal for just $5 at Macca's between 10:30 and 2 p.m. for McDonald's. Triple M rocks footy, and they've been rocking the Bombers tonight.
Bell Chambers hit up mark on Nick Natanui. He's been very impressive tonight.
He's been massive, hasn't he? He kicks it up towards the forward half of the ground, and Waterman playing in a defensive role now has taken a good mark. He'll chip it. Looked like he had a bit of cramp as he kicked it. And it just snuck onto the chest of Duggan. And Duggan will kick it along the line. Essendon by 41 points. Natanui couldn't take it. McInnes could. Quickly kicks it forward. Rioli tried to tap it to his own advantage. Here's McKenna. Received the hand pass from Redmond. And he'll chip it over the top. It's a nice one to McKernan. Still Essendon by 41 points. McKernan plays on quickly.
Centres the ball to Heppel. Heppel releases Merritt into space with a good hand pass. He drives it looking for Guelphy down towards half forward. Guelphy running back with the flight of it. Takes it coming in over his left shoulder. And now he chips the ball to Myers. Myers goes with his left boot, but that's wide of the mark. I think out of bounds on the full in the left full forward pocket. Man leading in that direction. He found him on the chest. That was Smith, but he was a step across the line. And the West Coast Eagles bring it back to midfield now. Gaff gets a hand pass from Cripps, has a bounce, runs to the centre circles, kicks it down towards half forward, and Ryan uncontested. Flies up, takes the mark, plays on quickly, kicks it down towards full forward. Taken down there by Lacroix, and Lacroix gets into space, hooks it back over his left shoulder, and kicks a goal. So Lacroix gets his first, and the West Coast Eagles move to 39, 4:15. 4:15, you heard right, to 11-8. So 39 plays 74, and that's on the Triple M Beaumont scoreboard.
Highlights have been few and far between for Liam Ryan tonight, but one of the few times he was able to get separation, took a really good mark, and then just had the awareness to be able to move the ball quickly from centre half forward. Really good, dangerous kick into Lacroix, who's worked pretty hard tonight. Lacroix just hasn't been rewarded for it.
West Coast are actually at +6 now in inside 50s for the game on the Triple M Bosch Tools stats.
Well, it's 19 scoring shots to 19 too, Beast. So I suppose they've had their opportunities as well, as much as Essendon's dominated the game. Cripps gathers it in the middle. He'll chip it out wide to a running Marston, looking for more goals, West Coast. It's come too late. Here's Shuey, runs into a little bit of trouble, forced to go on his right, kicks it inside attacking 50. Hurley best placed to take the mark, and he does. Mr. Reliable, 20 out from his defensive goal, slows things down. 35 points the Bombers lead, got out to 45 during that third quarter. McKernan starting to rack up the touches too late in the game. He takes a mark, chips it further afield to Brown, couldn't control it. Here's Jenner, gathers it for the West Coast Eagles. Deep kick, Ryan's there. Can he take a big mark? No. Hook up, will gather it, goes by hand to Hurley. Strong defence from Essendon. His short pass lands on the chest of McGrath.
Is it right half back or just short of there? He goes along the boundary to Langford. He's played a very good game, Langford. We'll check his stats in a moment. He's had plenty of the ball. Half-time had 15. He kicks it up towards the wing. In that pack, Natanui thumps it forward. Taken on the bounce by Cripps. Got a hand pass to Jetta. Quick hand pass away to Marston, who kicks inside the forward 50, but it was rushed and on the chest of Hooker.
He's been good tonight, Hooker. He's just stood tall. Every time West Coast have thrusted inside forward 50 entries, his positioning, along with Hurley, they've been outstanding.
Kicks towards the outer side is Hooker. McDonald tipping Woody was up. Didn't take the mark. Roving the pack is Cripps. He's taken high. He'll get the free. Advantage is paid. Redden finds himself inside the centre square with a footy. Drives deep, but again, it's Hooker who claims the mark about 20 metres out. Just checking Langford's stats.
He's only had 5 touches in the second half, so he has 20 disposals now for the game on the Triple M Bosch Tool Stats.
You could have said you couldn't find them.
30 minutes gone in the soccer.
That makes me look foolish. Why would I take the bullet for you? You've never done it for me.
Ball's at the top of the 50. Little tense in the box here at the moment between dad and son. As Shuey gathers it, 45 out. Beautiful kick from Luke Shuey. He's had a tough evening, but he finishes off with his own piece of glory from 45 on the angle. Puts some respectability back on the scoreboard. The Bombers are 11-8-74. The Eagles 5-15-45. 30 minutes gone in the World Cup. And it's still 1-0 Denmark's way over the Socceroos for Bogdan Timarts. Head in for the end of financial year deals. On now, here's Tan.
Yeah, just keeping an eye on Fantasia, who's hobbled to the bench with some physios and the Essendon doctor, and he's now disappeared out of sight. So hopefully he comes back and I can tell you what's wrong with him. And Jake Stringer looks like he's really labouring through this second half. He copped a kick in the shin at about the 10-minute mark of the second quarter. And given what happened with Josh Kennedy, the Eagle, the hairline fracture, he doesn't look comfortable. So hopefully nothing too sinister with that shin for Stringer.
Amazingly, the margin now is at 29 points. Myers out of the middle. His kick was half smothered. Ricochets in the direction of Jetta. He paddles it across towards Cole. His hand pass in hope. Chopped off by Smith. Then Cole drops the mark after Smith's kick. Ball comes to McDonald. Tip and Woody. He scuttles inside the forward 50, but dropping back. His kick is marked by Shepherd. And Shepherd goes short. Mark is taken by Duggan. Duggan up towards the wing. Well, short of that, but leading from the wing is Cripps. He runs back inside the defensive 50 now. Looks to the opposite pocket. Goes long to Hearn. Hearn takes the mark. Well, Lockie, if you'd listened to the preview, I think we were unanimous here in the preview that 12 goals would win it.
Yeah.
No, we were, weren't we, Embers?
What team?
We were.
Just didn't think
Well,
Essendon would kick 12 and West Coast would be on 5 at this stage.
No, we thought probably closer if it was 12. But McGovern comes onto the ground through the interchange and immediately impacts the game as he takes a mark from Duggan's kick. He kicks it down towards half forward. And right on the logo, there's a scramble and a free kick is going to be paid to Bell Chambers.
So Sard will receive it from Bell Chambers and kick it wide. Heppel there. He's had a good evening. Gathers the mark, just stands and waits for someone to come to him. Now decides to run and have a bounce. Kick is just out in front of McDonald, Tip and Woody. He pushes off Cole, has a bit of a bounce and wants to take them both on. Silly option in the end. Ball comes out the back. Heppel's now caught in a tackle. He punches it further afield. Two good tackles laid by West Coast. The second rewarded, and it'll come back to Redden at right half back.
Free kicks locked 32-17 in favour of West Coast right now on the Triple M Bosch Tool Stats. We
Another
spoke about
huge
that at
advantage.
half-time.
So the short pass is good to McInnes. 32 free kicks.
It's hard to work out, isn't it? No, just nothing says they've got to be equal, but West Coast do okay at home.
They certainly do. As we have it on the far side, this is with Yo. Decides to kick it to about 30 out from his attacking goal. Lycett should have taken the mark. McGrath robes it well. Gives it off by hand to Bell Chambers, who finds Hurley, and Hurley's kick was marked by Bagley. Yes, it was. Just before the boundary line, and he'll take the kick.
A lot of talk in Melbourne about the roar of affirmation, but
Yeah.
I think it's more the cone of silence. I think umpires, when no one reacts to a free kick, they doubt what they saw.
Yeah.
It's more that way. I think West Coast get the kicks perhaps they're entitled to, but the opposition don't seem to.
Massive numbers, though. 32 free kicks.
Yeah, that's a lot.
One game. It's
That's
a lot.
a lot.
I think if you look back over the last couple of weeks, they've had similar 30-odd in each of them. So, yeah. Anyway, the umpires do their job then, don't they?
Of course they do.
Yeah, and the margin here is 29 points. Essendon are leading. They don't care about the free kicks. They're going to get the 4 points.
Bell Chambers thumbs it down. In goes Hutchings. Strong tackle by Yo. Got Myers down, but not before the ball came across towards McKenna. He boots it towards half forward. Hearn's been a good player. Drops back and takes the mark. He's been a good player all season long. Decides to play on this time, and hand passes on the bounce across to Duggan. Not such good play. Duggan's in trouble. Hand passes back to Hearn. Hearn's under pressure. Decides to hand pass to Gaff. Gaff right on the boundary, keeps it in, kicks it high. Everybody missed it. Runs behind. Nat Nui's got it now. Slips a hand pass away to Shuey. Shuey's hand pass was a shocker at the feet of Lysette. Did well, Lysette. The big fella got it across to Yo. Hand passes to Hutchings. He kicks it down towards half forward. Up comes McGovern and takes the mark. But moving him forward, I suppose in retrospect, that was a little bit late, that move.
McGovern kicks inside, attacking 50, a good one. And Redden's taken the mark, and while we wait for Redden to kick a goal, I think Tan has a nice little stat for us with thanks to our great supporters, Bob Jane T-Marks.
Yeah, not a great night for the West Coast Eagles, but they have created a bit of AFL/VFL history. The first club to register 7 home crowds in excess of 50,000. Essendon and Richmond have both done it 6 times, but West Coast the first club to do it 7 as that shot on goal missed, so that sums up the night.
They wish they hadn't turned up after watching that kick. He kicked it to the man on the mark and just bobbled about 20 metres away. It's been horrific to watch from a West Coast perspective.
Can I just say, Tan's killing me on the stats.
I know, Beast. Pick up your act.
I feel like West Coast and she's Essendon. Thanks, Tan.
Matt Nui grabs the football and kicks it behind.
That's an incredible stat by West Coast.
What, 50,000?
Thanks, just rub it in there, just say.
Well, you'd think, Essendon or Richmond or Collingwood sometime during,
Sard kicked to himself and then fell over. And the ball spilt into the goal square. There was a half opportunity for a man who'll get it back, Cripps. Then he takes a swing at it and misses. Need the Benny Hill music as the ball comes out of defence. Pack flies on the 50. Down in front, a chance for Merritt. Well, it's almost as good as Lysette's. They can compare notes after the game. A couple of real missed opportunities for the West Coast Eagles. Now the ball's inside this centre square momentarily. Stringer couldn't pick it up. Heppel gets across and does okay. Hand passes to a teammate in Langford who kicks it towards the outer side. And eventually, on that outer side, that's interesting, McKenna. It's time for a little Irish football. He kicked it over the man who was confronting him. They went eyeball to eyeball. And then he just dropped it on the boot and lobbed it over the man in front. And you won't see that. And we're watching the Chemist Warehouse replay screen. And I don't think Sard would want to watch that back either.
Embers, you keep an eye on the soccer because Australia's got a penalty. The Socceroos, you can call that as I call this. Nat Nui, the man in the front, tapped it out towards the boundary line. Heppel there to try and gather it. Good little hand pass over the top to Green, or was it Smith? And then the kick forward was Langford. Langford had kicked it up towards half-back. Cole will receive a free kick, gave it off to Gaff. Now with Jetta. Jetta through the middle of the ground, kicks up towards the top of the 50. Running back, taking a good mark, is Cripps. And Cripps from outside 50 will look to go short. No, he won't. No one stands on the mark. He decides to load up. It's going to go through for another. Big goal for Cripps. And the margin's back to 22 points, closest it's been for quite some time. Andrew Embley called the penalty for the Socceroos.
And in Russia, Jedinak, he steps up. He scored against France from the spot. This is massive kick coming up here for Australia. Jedinak, he stands. He comes in. He scores. 1-1 Australia and Denmark.
Sum it up for us, Den, the commentary.
Well, I didn't hear it. You mean
the enthusiasm?
The man we had doing it. Oh, very good.
What
very
about
good.
The goal?
So they only need a draw to go on, don't they?
Score here is 11-8-74. The Bombers, West Coast 6-16-52. They're out of the middle again.
Yeah, Shuey spurred on by that goal. Kicks it down inside the forward 50. Taken by Hurley, who kicks it out wide, and the mark is taken by Goddard. He's right half back. As the clock is just over a minute 20 now. Back towards the middle comes the kick as Essendon work it out of defence. Stringer gets a hand pass from Heppel. Runs down towards half forward. That's a good kick too. And the leading target is Langford. And he's marked just inside the 50. So 74 plays 52. A minute 5 seconds remaining.
Just a great kick into the middle of the ground. Just open it up. Heppel involved. And then just a nice kick from Stringer inside forward 50. And as you said, Langford, who's been good tonight. Found plenty of the football.
And he comes then. And this kick is just falling away to the right, but it's a goal. He gets it. Now, amazingly, what's that? Only their fourth goal since half-time. So it's been a strange old game, but judging by the reaction of the Essendon players, they think it's over. 35 seconds to go, I think they're right.
It's well and truly over. It's been an enormous performance. Well done, Essendon. Well done, John Worsfold. That's 4 wins from their last 5 games. They kept their final seasons alive. They've been playing some outstanding football over the last month or so, and they came over here. There was a little bit of money for Essendon. People thought that with Darling and Kennedy out, it may be a real opportunity to get hold of the Eagles, and they've surely done that tonight.
They've been sensational from the very first bounce. The first goal came at the 3rd minute mark of the game. Then Stringer kicked one in the 5th minute mark. They were off and racing. They kicked 6 goals in the first quarter to just 1 behind. Dominated the game, Essendon. It's been a brave effort from them to come over here to the West. And they're pretty good on the road now, having won their last 3 straight on the road. They've got in their forward half of the ground as we count down to the final siren. It'll be a big celebration for Bomber fans. This is an awesome effort to win over here in the West against the team that loves playing here at Optus Stadium. The kick away from Yo will head towards the boundary line. It'll bounce and bounce. Langford was first there. Pulled off the footy by Shepherd. He gave it to Gav, to Marston. Has to get rid of it quickly. Kicks it up towards the wing. McGovern, one-hander, took the mark and then plays on. But it's all about the Bombers. They've won 12-8-80. The Eagles 6-16-52. Essendon by 28 points. See the Bombers fly up the ladder.
Oh.
Cowboys who play this grand old game are always striving for glory and fame. See the Bombers fly up, up. The other teams they don't fear. They all try their best, but they can't get near as the Bombers fly up.
Well, a little over a month ago, they were calling for the coach to be sacked. He was under all sorts of pressure. He kept his job, extended his contract, and he's got a win over here in the West. 12-8-80 Essendon. The West Coast Eagles 6-16-52. One of the great wins for this footy club in recent times. Here's Dyson Heppel, the skipper.
Yeah, the boys put in tonight. I thought we really played the game on our terms from the get-go, so really pleased with the result.
And leadership from your experienced players all over the ground, whether it was Cale Hooker in defence and Michael Hurley, Brendan Goddard set the scene early, yourself, Zach Merritt, the experience was clearly evident.
Yeah, no doubt. I think we had some cool heads tonight. We've been putting it on our senior leaders throughout the last couple of months, and I think it's great to get some reward for effort.
You were concussed in the last game of footy that you played up there in Brisbane. When did you personally start to zero in on West Coast and the enormous challenge that represented? First of all, getting yourself right.
Yeah, no doubt. I couldn't remember the game, so look, I had a nice few days off. I guess collected my thoughts after that, and then I was cherry ripe a few days later. But we really zoned in, I guess, a week out. Had a good look at them, and it paid off really well.
Your coach spoke about the chemistry in the team. It was great to see Devon Smith. He kicked 3 goals. He's been good all year, but also Jake Stringer set you up early. And also Adam Sard, his run off halfback, so important.
Yeah, the inclusion of those 3 boys has been super. They're really just coming in, playing their role, really bought into the culture of this footy club, and everyone else has embraced them, so it's been super.
You're one of the form teams in the competition, 4 from the last 5. Can you feel that you've got a real impact on that top 8?
Well, look, it's probably going to be a real stock standard line here, but we really are just bloody taking 1 week at a time, and, it's a fitting result tonight.
This is a difficult oval to beat a quality opponent in, and you've done well. Congratulations, Dyson.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Good on you, Belly. Dyson Heppel with 27.
Dyson Heppel, 27 disposals. We might head back down in just a moment. Tom Bell-Chambers about to talk to Peter Bell, and he looks very small, Belly, up against Tommy Bell-Chambers. But anyway, we'll head down in a moment. Zach Merritt was the man who led the way in disposals. He had 30 for the game. Gaff had 32. Here is Tom Bell-Chambers.
Natanui, how did you approach that challenge?
Yeah, definitely a tough ask coming up against one of the best ruckmen in the game. For me, it's just about trying to bring aggression around the ball and physicality, and trying to halve a few contests and give my mids a look at it. And to the mids' credit tonight, we were pretty good around the ball, so I was happy with it.
And I thought at times you really made Nick defend you, really ran him around as well. You marked the ball well, and you've got great continuity in your body, only missing the 1 game this year.
Yeah, my body's feeling really good, and that's I think that's showing out in the game. Being able to move around the ground a little bit more, and that's the modern ruckman these days. You can't be a plotter anymore. You got to try and get around the ground. So it's nice to get on the end of a couple.
Can you feel the momentum building at the Bombers? Clearly a little bit shaky early in the year, but your form of late has been outstanding.
Yeah, I think our last month's been really pleasing, and wins on the road, especially over here, are really hard to come by. So I think that really builds belief for the group, and it's we took a real step forward tonight.
Centre clearances have been a strength for you guys. It must give you great confidence to be able to hit the ball down and have Dyson and Zach Merritt at your feet.
Yeah, you're right. Jakey Stringer coming in as well, so they're making me look good at the moment, and that's something we've really focused on the last month, and it's showing in our games, which is really pleasing.
Well played, Tom.
Good on your belly.
Lots of interviews down on the grounds. Zach Merritt might even have a bit of a chat as well, Den, saving us from talking a lot. These boys are enjoying the spoils of victory. Essendon by 28 points. It was a terrific win here at Optus Stadium. West Coast Eagles have made their way off the ground, and the Bombers remain on the ground celebrating with their fans. In a moment, we'll head down to catch up with Zach Merritt. The final score, the Bombers 12-8-80. They defeated the West Coast Eagles 6-16-52. Got something to tell you in just a few moments.
Billy's right too with Zach Merritt. He's feeling a lot more comfortable.
He's looking eye to eye with Zach Merritt. He's waiting and waiting and waiting, and Zach,
he wants to get on there.
I want to get off the ground and sing the song. Come on. Channel 7 just taking their time. But anyway, a little text came through. Everyone's been wrapped that we've been updating on the soccer.
Yes.
And one man in particular by the name of Daniel Kerr, remember him? He used to play for the West Coast Eagles. Sent a little message to our man Andrew Embley saying, thanks for telling us the soccer score, mate. Best thing you've said all night. Sorry for stealing your phone, but I read it and I thought that was very funny.
He's not bad, Kerry. Yes, fair call, Daniel.
Zach Merritt's talking. We've missed it in all that humour, Den. What did you make of the Bombers? I mean, that was sensational. At the start of the year, I actually tipped them to win the flag on the...
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well,
so
it still
I'm actually feeling pretty good about myself.
Well, it still might happen. I mean, they were very impressive in the first quarter, certainly. Tom Bill Chambers set the scene. He took on those big fellas, Lysette and Nat Nui, and did very well. And I think that was a gesture that his teammates were prepared to follow. Zach Merritt, a lot of the football. And probably, if you look for match winners, then Devon Smith kicked 3 goals, and so did Jake Stringer. And goals were really hard to come by tonight, so that was very, very important in the outcome of the game. Interesting to note, and this is a little misleading, but after quarter time, the West Coast Eagles outscored Essendon 6-15 to 6-3. And so many inside 50s. It'll be interesting to get the number from the Beast when he has a look at that in the last 3 quarters. It certainly will favour the West Coast Eagles. But, of course, they were consolidating their position. They knew they had the game won. It was won in the first term. And as a result, I think they were controlling things. And they controlled things very well because they were never under any pressure in terms of the outcome from that quarter-time break.
Well, I'll tell you what, Embers, your old coach, John Worsfold, he worked pretty hard during the bye, I'm sure, to come up with some sort of match-winning formula. I mean, it helped that Jack Darling and Josh Kennedy weren't there, but they were just terrific. They were just full of run and couldn't be stopped, in particular those speedsters off half-back.
Early on, no doubt about that. Their pressure around the contest, we spoke about that pre-game, certainly been an area in the last month that's really gone through the roof for Essendon. They put pressure on the ball carrier, they win the ball back, and then on transition they've been really quick and they were able to use the football. Their forwards got higher, and then they were able to get the Eagles out the back. The Eagles weren't able to put any pressure on Essendon whatsoever, so they came to play. They were certainly fresh, and congratulations to John Worsfold and his team. They came over with a plan and they executed it beautifully.
Well, Dyson Heppel has charged down into the rooms. His team is following. He's about 10 metres in front. Tam, we might head down to you because I reckon the celebrations will be pretty big tonight for the Bombers. That was just superb to watch from this team.
Yeah, they were on from the get-go, weren't they? As you said, Dyson Heppel, he came down the race all by himself, but he was pretty happy with things. He's just getting the team in a circle now. This is, of course, their 3rd win in a row on the road. They've beaten the Giants, Brisbane Lions, and now they've toppled the West Coast Eagles in Perth. So they're going to sing this song with some gusto. They're getting ready to go now. Here they go.
Terrific stuff for the Bombers. It's half-time in the soccer. It's Socceroos up against Denmark, and it's 1-1. Jednak, of course, brilliantly called by Andrew Embley, scored the penalty and we're all 1-1 at half-time. We'll keep you up to date if anything happens between now and when we say goodbye. The final score here, Essendon 12-8-80. They defeated the West Coast Eagles 6-16-52. Beast, take it away with the Triple M Bosch Tool stats.
Thanks, Laggy. And for the home team first, it was Gaff leading the way with 32 disposals. Redden had 26 with 4 clearances and 528 metres gained. Hearn, had 24 disposals, 9 marks and 92% disposal efficiency, so he continues that run. Yo had the 22 disposals. Nick Nat had 34 hitouts, 10 contested possessions, 5 clearances to go with 1 goal, and Cripps had 2 goals. And for the Bombers, it was Merritt leading the way with 30 disposals, 11 of them being contested, and Heppel had 27, 10 contested, 11 marks, 7 scoring involvements, and 6 clearances. So a monster game for the captain there. Sard, 26 disposals. Goddard, 25 and 7 marks. Langford had 24 to go with 5 clearances. And Smith had a monster game too, 23 disposals, 10 contested possessions, 6 clearances, 6 scoring involvements to go with those 3 goals. Stringer also added another 3 goals. And Essendon were a plus 71 in disposals, a plus 34 in marks, which is huge considering the Eagles came in ranked number 1 in the AFL in that category, a plus 53 in uncontested possessions, a plus 8 in clearances, and West Coast ended up being a plus 14 in inside 50s after all that, and they won the free kick count, no doubt, 33-17.
Comprehensive, Beast. Well done.
What's this no doubt mean? No doubt.
Yeah, no doubt.
Editorialise.
We spoke about that already.
Well, that's our job.
He's all over.
You're editorialising.
You just be quiet, Dan. Let him go.
Sorry,
okay,
well,
his moment. Bosch Tool stats, all done. Pick up your McCoss lunch deal for just $5 at Macca's between 10:30 and 2 p.m. I wouldn't be taking him on either. Look how much bigger he is than you. Anyway, let's head down to town because there's one happy midfielder alongside her right now.
Yeah, had a bit of a smile then, Zach, when you heard 30 possessions. Not a bad game from yourself and the Bombers.
Yeah, it's a great way to travel to Perth. We've had a pretty poor record recently, so to come over here and get a win's obviously super effort by a group who went through a tough period early in the year and we're starting to fight back a bit better now, and to knock off a top 2 side like West Coast who are playing really good footy is really pleasing for us.
What's changed in the last 5 weeks? 6 weeks ago you got thumped by the Blues. What's happened since then?
Yeah, if I could put my finger on it, it'd be a nice one to be able to know going forward. But I think it's just been simplifying the way we play and playing with real enjoyment and enjoying training Monday to Friday as well. It's been something we've really focused on, and I think it's played and enjoyed a lot more freedom going forward.
Zach, it's Andrew Embley. Congratulations on your win today and your own performance as well. You've had some tight tags this year, but it must be nice to be able to have Hutchins go to you, but you still to be able to cover the ground and find the football like you did.
Yeah, he's obviously a really good player and someone I've admired from afar, the way he goes about his tagging. So to come over and have an impact for my team, a positive impact on the game, and have a pretty strong influence was something I'm pretty proud of individually, but ultimately it's about winning the game of footy. So I think ultimately as a midfield we'd probably worked a little bit harder than them around the ball, and ultimately got more clearance I think going forward.
I thought your pressure tonight, and certainly been an area over the last 4 or 5 weeks that has really stepped up. Your pressure on ball carrier, pressure around the contest. Has that been an area where you've really sort of started to focus a lot more in?
It was probably a big focus from right back to pre-season, start of November, and something that's probably started to show out more in our games the last 4 or 5 weeks, but has certainly been a focus all year. We just couldn't quite get it right in that 4 or 5 week period at the start of the year.
We talked about Tom Bell-Chambers before the game. He certainly accepted the challenge tonight, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we know how good Nick Nat is, and we all admire him even when we play against him, but I thought Tom tried really hard and just kept competing all night, which is super.
And Jake Stringer, what do you make of his form of late? He's really turned his season around.
Yeah, he's pretty relaxed character, Jakey. Pre-game, he just strolls around, and when the game starts, he switches on, and he's a super player to have up forward for us and going to the midfield when he can, and going forward, I think he's going to be a really powerful force for us.
Zach, tell us about your preparations for this game, and in particular when Josh Kennedy was missing from the team. How much did that change your preps?
To be honest, didn't really change much. We know how good a player Josh is, and he's someone that obviously is a pretty focal point for them, and obviously him going out didn't really adjust too much. I think it just changed probably a few of the backs matchups, but that's something that I don't focus on too much. I was just trying to stop inside 50s for them and cause some high balls for our backs, help them out.
You've got so much speed, haven't you? Sard, McDonald, Tip and Woody, you just love getting the ball into their hands.
Yeah, it is funny. Sometimes you sit there admiring the way they go about it, even though you're their teammate on the field. It's pretty special to watch Sard and Connor do their tricks off half-back, and that really opens the game up for us.
Interesting, the next couple of games too, Zach. North Melbourne, you've got them, and then Collingwood, who thrashed you in round 4. So hard yards because you've dug a bit of a hole for yourself, so you've got to get back in the race.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the grueling season. That's how close this competition is currently, and it's exciting for fans. It's exciting for everyone to come and watch. And if we can focus hard and try and get some good performances next month, we can set ourselves up for a tough finish, but hopefully try and aim for finals still.
Mate, thanks very much for joining us. Before we let you go, are you a soccer man?
Yeah, I've certainly enjoyed watching the World Cup.
Yeah, do you want to know the score at half-time, Socceroos and Denmark?
Do I want to know?
Yeah, do you want to know?
I do, yeah.
Okay, it's 1-1.
Okay, that's exciting. Right. I'll go and watch it on my phone now.
Yeah, I was going to say, will you be able to get home and watch it in the second half?
Definitely.
Good on you, mate.
Thanks,
Great
boys.
game, 30
Well
disposals. Zach Merritt, terrific performance from him, and the rest of that midfield group. They're an exciting team. If they can continue this sort of form, Andrew Embley, they could sneak into that top 8.
Well, they're starting to play some confident football. Their pressure's been outstanding, and they've had a really good 5 weeks. So, and as Dennis said, they've got some winnable games coming up. So they're playing confident footy, and they'll certainly go away with tonight's win. A very happy team.
And by contrast, the West Coast Eagles draw, you've got to say, is a little bit tricky now going forward. They've got Adelaide in Adelaide. I suppose with the injuries they've got, you say that's a big chance to win. GWS and then Collingwood at the MCG. Now, if they were to drop 2 of those, they could suddenly fall back into a situation where they won't miss out on the top 8, but they may miss out in the top 4.
Well, that's nervous times for the West Coast Eagles. They want Josh Kennedy back ASAP. Darling still quite some time away, and Barris, of course, was also missing tonight. Pick up the Macaw's lunch deal for just $5 at Macca's between 10:30 and 2 p.m. And today's Macca's moment happened at the 27th minute mark of the third quarter. Here's how we called it on Triple M Footy. And they're working around the defensive half of the ground, although shocking kick lands in the hands of Shuey, gives it the gap, 45 out. Oh, just touched beautifully. Oh, no, it's going to bounce. Oh, he's missed it. Has missed it.
Oh, Scott Lights is the miss of the year.
1 metre out. He tried to kick it off the ground, and he has missed the ball completely. Touched his sock, Dan reckons.
It did. I think it was so.
It wasn't a goal in the end, and it was, a memorable moment for all the humour that went with it. The Bombers winners here tonight, 12-8-80. They defeated the West Coast Eagles 6-16-52. I've got to stretch for a little bit, Den, because I'm a little concerned about the man at the end, Andrew Embley. He's got to pick 3, 2 and 1, and all I say is good luck.
Not easy.
It's tricky tonight. But, I think there's probably 4 players, 5 players perhaps.
Throw some up for him.
No, he's fine. No, he's his own man.
Help me out of here, Dennis.
No. Well, here's the bloke that got the penalty. He'll get one. But you nailed him.
All right, well, we're going to go. The Triple M Best on Ground Award, thanks to Just for Men, gets rid of grey hair in 5 easy minutes. Visit justformen.com.au to learn more. Don't stuff it up, Andrew Embley.
Yeah, well, you can certainly raffle this because Essendon had a lot of good players tonight. But I'm going to give 1 vote to their big ruckman, Tom Bell-Chambers. I thought he was outstanding all night, really set the tone early in the game with the first clearance, the first kick inside forward 50. He got a goal. In the end, had 13 touches, a lot of hit-outs to advantage, and I really thought that he nullified the influence of Nick Natanui and also Scott Lycett. So 1 vote goes to Tom Bell-Chambers, 2 votes and I thought Adam Sard tonight, his run and carry off half-back was outstanding. He found plenty off the football and just gave Essendon genuine leg speed at 26 touches in the end and 4 inside 50 entries. Just really showed that he wanted to get up the ground and kick the ball inside forward 50. So they had a lot of good defenders tonight, but I thought Adam Sard's run and carry was very important. And 3 votes best on ground. We just spoke to him before. Zach Merritt, I thought he really stood up tonight. 30 disposals. He's at times this year struggled with a really tight tag, but to be able to play on Hutchings tonight and work really hard over 4 quarters, he had 4 clearances and 4 tackles, and I thought he was probably Essendon's best player. So 3 votes best on ground tonight goes to Zach Merritt.
You're not going to believe this. I wrote my best 3 down while I was singing the song. I've gone 3 Zach Merritt, 2 Adam Sard, 1 Tom Bell-Chambers.
Oh, Dennis, thank you, mate. That means a lot because I was.
You are full of it, Ben.
Both ways, Embers.
You are completely full of it.
It's like a tag team. Beautiful.
I must
good
admit,
work,
Bell
Dennis.
Chambers was good in the first quarter. The game was won in the first quarter. I think you're right. Bell Chambers was great. Sard was terrific in the first
listen
quarter.
to you.
And I had the 3-2-1 as well, and I went Merritt, Sard, and Bell Chambers. So
What a team.
you are just
No,
spot on
no
there,
Heppel,
Embers.
no Heppel from anyone.
Heppel. He was good, Heppel.
Nah, he was good, but he wasn't in the top three. Did you have him in your top three, did
Well,
you?
stats wise, I go by the stats, mate.
Stats don't mean everything, Beast.
Hey, terrific night of footy, especially for Essendon fans. They won it here this evening, 12-8-80. They defeated the West Coast Eagles 6-16-52. Thanks to Dan, thanks to Embers, thanks to the Beast and Tan on the boundary. Tommy and the production team doing a great job. Hope you enjoyed it all. For McDonald's, Triple M Rocks Footy.
This quarter was brought to you by Beaumont Tiles.